Toyota's been in a little bit of a pickle of late, if you will. In a very brief nutshell, they don't think that the global rush towards electrifying or building, selling, delivering all electric vehicles in a rush is a good idea. At least not in the short term. That very unpopular opinion has led a lot of experts and even journalists and others to believe that maybe Toyota's just not ready and doesn't have the electric vehicle technology necessary in order to feed this very soon to blossom and blow up demand for EVs. But this is an automaker, Toyota, that essentially put hybrids on the map. I mean, the Prius is the poster child for all things, well, electrified and hybrid. The really weird thing is that Toyota has adapted this hybrid technology to nearly all of its products, from the Camry to the Highlander to the Sienna and other vehicles across the Lexus product line as well. So you would think that they would embrace the fact that EVs are coming, EVs are necessary. But like I said, that's just a very brief point of view or description or explanation, I should say, of what's going on with Toyota and what they think about electric vehicles. In a way, I kind of grasp what they're saying. In a perfect world, where a lot of people, if not the vast majority of people, drive hybrids, well, the demand for oil would greatly reduce. And Toyota essentially has some of the most advanced and efficient hybrid vehicles available on the market through many categories or segments. One of those segments is the three-row SUV, in which this Highlander participates. The bottom line is essentially that this hybrid Highlander consumes as much fuel as a very efficient petrol-only compact sedan or compact hatchback. And that's a little bit mind-boggling when you think about it. But the bottom line, again, is that this is so efficient right now and probably still has a little bit of room for improvement, that maybe we don't need to rush into EVs so quickly. I'm not saying I agree or disagree with Toyota's position, because I love all EVs that I've driven, but I think Toyota does have a point. And this Highlander hybrid is probably the most pertinent vehicle that Toyota offers here in North America, where it's big, like we like them, it's an SUV, as we have to have them, and it's excessively efficient. Anyhow, so in the following video, as per the norm, we'll do the usual little walk around, and then we'll take it on a very green, or is that blue now, little road test. Now, this is the 4th generation Toyota Highlander. It was introduced just over 2.5 years ago for the 2020 model year. And a quick glance at it, well, you'll notice some visual styling cues, if you will. In other words, Toyota will tell you that it's Supra inspired, like the Sienna. And well, the line that they're talking about, it's just this crease that goes through the bottom of the doors and flows into the rear quarter panels. Now, I'm not going to say that I can see it, but I will say, however, that the Highlander is very, very attractive. Just from the front end, the grille, the proportions and everything. Well, here goes. Toyota designers have done a better job than Lexus designers in making it all fit and come together. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so pricing in the US for the 2021 Highlander is $35,085 for the base model. And the least expensive hybrid is $38,735. Emphasis on the fact that both of those models are front-wheel drive. In Canada, the only front-wheel drive model available is the L, and it starts at $40,450, while the hybrid starts with LE all-wheel drive trim. Yes, all hybrids are all-wheel drive in Canada. $45,950. Now, in the base truck, what you get is an 8-inch display, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, power tailgate, intelligent cruise control as part of Toyota's Safety Sense 2.5 Plus, satellite radio, and on and on and on. My tester here is a limited, obviously, never the one that people buy, but the fully loaded version. $54,150. It includes leather all over the place, heated and cooled front seats, heated rear seats, so on. It's all premium audio, premium JBL audio with all kinds of speakers. But that's not all, because my tester also has the Platinum package, which includes heads-up display, second row captain seats, and so on and so forth, for a grand total of $56,450. I think we'll all agree that that's a fair amount of money, but that's a lot of luxury, fair amount of space, incredible efficiency, meaning that, well, this is actually, I don't want to say value packed, but I think the price is right. Oh boy, I just said that, yes. Okay, so let's do the remainder, or let's keep going with the tour. So a power tailgate, that's also included. It's actually a good speed, to be honest. So that reveals 453 liters behind the third row. It's not huge, and well, there's a little bit of storage under here, not that much. And if, or with the third row down, you're looking at 1,370 liters of trunk space. A Sienna, which this has a lot in common with, is minimally 40% more spacious than the Highlander, at least 40%. Just so you know, my beloved Sienna hybrid. Okay, so this is a third row SUV, and for your viewing pleasure, and well, you probably won't see much, but you'll hear it maybe. I'm gonna climb back there. So seats slide forward. There's a good step there and kind of a second step there, so you can climb inside. Now for the demonstration purposes, this is down, so I'm gonna go sit there, obviously. Just a quick explanation before I slide back there. So the seats are positioned in such a way where things make sense. Now my son's baby seat is positioned so that there's room for his legs, and if he wants to kick a little bit, you know, without hitting the seat back. So I'm gonna go squeeze back there. Not the first time. The reality is it's not that bad. Now I'm just shy of 5'10", and well, that's it. There is no more leg room. Also, the seat cushion is fairly low. I'm thinking maybe 5 inches off the ground, so that explains why my knees are so bent. Headroom is a little bit snug. You kind of feel like you're locked in back here. But look, if you're anywhere around 5 and change feet tall, it can be doable, but best used for children. As I get my butt out of the third row. Well, with the seat slid all the way back, I mean, legroom is impressive. Captain seats are always the best for comfort, or even for kids, especially if there are only 4 of you in your vehicle, because limited Platinum, you know, USB controls. There's your controls for HVAC and the rear heated seats. This is another nice touch. Okay, so up front. Now here's the thing with Toyota products. They usually put a lot of effort into how everything looks, and the materials are just good enough, which is fine, to be honest. I mean, there's a, I don't know if you heard that, but I've noticed a lot of creaking kind of coming from a bunch of panels on the inside of the vehicle, which is not very usual for Toyota. But the effort's not unusual. Let's just slide on board. Your heated steering wheel buttons, seats. This is the leather. It's actually really nice. Seats are comfortable. Let's just get in. Start her up. It's in here where the Highlander shines for me on a number of levels. 7-inch display, 12.3-inch display, very nice. You know, there's an effort with the controls. I like the redundant buttons, the way they're cut out. Everything is clearly legible. The screen is lovely. Unfortunately, again, Toyota's batch of, well, there's nothing behind the truck now, but the batch of cameras I still believe come from 2008 or 2010, and they're still going through them. Here are all your various drive modes. Yes, there is a trail button just in case you want to have some fun. Now this is where it gets cool. Storage. I love Toyota's thinking here. A little pass, a little hole to put the cable in. This is perfect for a wallet or a phone, and it carries on for the passenger. It's just, I think it's just really cool. Good sized door bins. This is a little bit of a, well, not too cool. Your wireless charger is there, but you can't, if you want to get into the bin, well, you got to flip it up. This is actually fairly deep, and there's a little tray in there too. So this is kind of a, oops, we forgot something. but it works if you think about it. And they did think about visibility too. I mean, the pillars look fairly fat, but as you roll around, there's a nice big gap right there, so that works out beautifully. Pretty much completes the interior. I'll show you the storage down here as well. Anyhow, I think it's time to go for a drive. Now, obviously, many parallels can be drawn between the Highlander Hybrid and the Sienna Hybrid. They do, in fact, share the identical hybrid synergy drive powertrain, which consists in the naturally aspirated 2.5 liter four-cylinder engine and the electric motors. In the case of the all-wheel drive, that includes the one on the rear axle, which is physically separated from everything else going on in front. Total system output is 243 horsepower. So as far as, I mean, this is still a fairly heavy SUV, as they all are. So, oh look, I don't want to say it, but performance is kind of meh. But that's not the reason why this SUV exists. And we have to get that out of our mind. I have to get it out of my mind too. Is that this is just a hyper efficient way to get around. That's the MO behind this truck. And you can take your friends or your family and some gear. You're just not going to hit 100 kilometers per hour, in 4.8 seconds. But you'll be able to tow 3,500 pounds should you want that. The idea is efficiency. I've said it, and I may say it again. I'm not entirely sure, but on average, you can expect to, in combined driving, get about 6.5 to 7 liters per 100 kilometers as fuel consumption. These are real world numbers. I mean, this beats out, say, even a Honda Civic, naturally aspirated, petrol version, or matches it at the worst. It's more efficient than all mid-sized sedans, or those that remain, and there are no other three-row SUVs that are as efficient in the city or on the highway as this vehicle, in the same segment, of course. I mean, I'm averaging just under 7 liters per 100 kilometers. Or averaging 7 liters per 100 kilometers, I should say. There's no other way to say it, but that is incredible. I mean, even when I drove the Explorer Hybrid, I think I averaged over 10, which is, I think it was closer to 11, which works out to 50% more fuel per 100 kilometers. 50%. That's ridiculous. The ride quality is good. Braking's fine, steering's fine. Everything about the driving experience, it's very comfortable in here. Even with the 20-inch wheels, the ride quality is good. The only bug, and it's a reoccurring one, it's the eCVT. I've been criticized in the past for comparing the eCVT to a CVT and not understanding what it is. The thing is that for you, if you're shopping for one of these and you've driven, say, a previous generation Pathfinder, a Qashqai, or an Ascent or something like that, you'll have driven a vehicle with a CVT, continuously variable transmission, which is not exactly what this has, but it operates in the same way where it'll hold engine speeds as actual speed increases. And the difference between the eCVT and a typical CVT is that it doesn't have a chain, or it doesn't have a belt. In their place, doing their job, is an electric motor generator, which it is manipulating the planetary gears in the transmission and modulating speeds, engine speeds, transmission speeds. I think that kind of works. I'm not 100% sure, but anyway. But the bottom line, if you're sitting here and you're driving, it feels like a regular CVT, which means it can drone on and on. Like with the Sienna, the way I've found to deal with the droning, or the less than, that gets tight quick with the closed lane, after you, my big friend, is using the Eco Drive mode. Because it dulls throttle response, it kind of plays nicer with The eCVT, the way it operates, and it gives you maximum efficiency at the same time. And you just have to be a little bit more patient when you roll onto the throttle. But again, if efficiency is what you want, and space, and comfort, and technology, and design, depending on whether or not you like the way this thing looks, you can't beat a Highlander hybrid. I mean, this is the efficiency king in a lot of segments. It punches above its, or below, I guess, its weight class, and does better than a lot of smaller SUVs and a lot of smaller cars. And for that reason alone, this thing is a champion. I mean, I love the Sienna for that. The eCVT is a little bit of a bugger, but see, I keep repeating it because I have a hard time with it. But I really don't have a hard time averaging under 7 liters per 100 kilometers getting around. And that's it.